before we get started, I think most of you are aware already, and if you didn't already know, one of our better players, one of our best players we've ever had here in our Ortonville tournament, Rick North, has unfortunately passed. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of him, and then we have a few people who'd like to say a few words, and then we're going to kick off our tournament this week. So, if you don't mind, we're going to start with just a moment of silence in honor of Rick North, the Joker.
Moment of silence, please.
Thank you, guys.
Here, Rick.
Yeah, to Rick. Also, your first drinks are going to be taken care of if you're playing on our tournament tonight. So, first drink is on the house, on the tournament. It's on the tournament. Some generous donors.
Filmed them all last week.
And I'm going to hand it off to Sherry. And again, if anybody else wants to say something, please feel free.
I want to let you know also there's an extra $100 in the side pot for break and run and for night on the break. So that's for anybody in memory of Rick. You could win tonight. Also make sure all of you get a drink, and I'm going to let some other people talk before I talk about the toast. Who would like to speak? I know Ralph wants. This is Jarrod. This is Rick's son. I don't know where he was hiding this whole time, but I never got to see the pictures other people are telling me about.
I was hiding in California. My dad loved this place. This was such a thing that gave him meaning in life. He was always ready to come here, and I think every time we talked on the phone, he was either on his way here or was talking about just being here. We're obviously joking, but I've heard them all already, so there was no new jokes for me to hear. That's not true, there was always new jokes, but I'm admittedly having a really hard time kind of coming up with words to describe this, and I just want to say thank you for being his family and for being a part of his life. Thank you.
All right, here.
And here's Ralph.
So, Rick, Jeff, and Chuck we started playing 9-ball, was it, Chuck, 50 years ago?
50 years ago.
We used to play at a place called Van Dyke Sports Center. We played ring 9-ball forever and ever and ever. And Rick, you know, he was an incredible athlete. I don't know if anybody knows that. He could have been a professional golfer, but he chose to train people at the Van Dyke Sports Center. They had a driving range. Rick was like, I'm telling you, he could have been a pro. And an incredible basketball player. And it's so funny, as I remember 2019, Andrea, when he started coming up here, I called Rick on the phone. He goes, "You still living way the fuck out in Ortonville?" I says, "Yeah, Rick, I am. They got this really cool tournament up there. Why don't you come on up and play?" He goes, "I am not driving." I go, "Rick, just come on up, man. You have a good time." So he came up here and never left because you guys were his family. You have no idea how important this night was to that man. Rick wasn't social. He didn't go to bars. He didn't do all that crap. And he was a very close friend. And every one of you meant something to him. I don't know if you realize that or not. This was very important to him. He never talked bad about anybody. And you know, old Rick, everybody knows this. Like, yeah, I got one for you. The joke wasn't even funny, but by him laughing and telling it, nobody delivered it like that guy did. He was freaking hilarious. You know, and then in between games, seeing him run up there and clear the balls off and that. It was a classic. We're going to miss that man so much. He was a big part of the whole Ortonville 9-ball thing. And I just want to tell you, it was an honor for me to know him for so many years, along with these two guys. And I hope that man's resting high on the mountain. He's probably playing Herman Pool and pissing him off, telling him what to do. Because he will tell you what to do and what you're doing wrong. Make no mistake about it. I'd like to hand the mic over to Chuck now. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being in front of my book.
Thank you, Rob. So I've known Rick for 50 years. We met playing pool, oddly enough. I ended up sharing an apartment with him and 3 other guys, a studio apartment. 5 guys, 2 cats, and a small litter box. I mean, the best sleeping area was next to the litter box because there was ants, there's all kinds of things. And we used to fight for the spot next to the litter box to sleep. But, so I knew Rick early on. We played softball together, we played basketball together, a lot of golf, gambled for big money in golf. And he was just a guy that was always there for me, and I was there for him. We built houses, we did roofing, we built cars, fixed engines, we did everything together. And he was always quick with a joke, and he would be the first one to laugh at his own joke. He would start laughing in case you didn't get the punchline, kind of helped along. Most of the jokes he stole from me, but I don't want any credit for that stuff. But no, it was a shock. You know, me and Jeff and Rick, 3-4 days a week, we were together, right? All these years. I remember Jarrod, when he was 10 years old, Rick would have me come over and fix his computer so he could do whatever he did online back then. It was one of those old big computers that everybody. I'm gonna miss Rick. I mean, he would call a lot, and sometimes I wouldn't answer because he'd call too much. But I miss him calling. I'm gonna miss Rick for a long time. So let's have a good time with Rick's on tonight.
One more thing, guys. How many of you guys have seen this in this bar? That guy was killing me. How many times did you see him walk up to a perfect stranger and start telling a story, them not knowing it's a joke, and these people would be like, really? Oh my God. And then all of a sudden you see them throw their hands up. The guy was a freaking classic, man. How many of you have seen that? And the other thing about Rick, too, which I thought was very honorable and so proud of, is people would be showing pictures of their kids or their grandchildren, strangers, whoever. What did he do? He pulled out his phone and showed that young man right there. He was so proud of you.
Scantily clad, some of them.
Yes, scantily clad. What about when some hot girl would be sitting there and they'd look at him like, what's this old man doing trying to pick me up? And he pulls his phone out. He goes, no, it's for my son. Anyways, have a good night, guys.
Very good.
All right, and lastly, of course, in true Rick fashion, he had to go out in first place. So he achieved first place, and we're very proud of him.
Why don't we hold that?
We will miss him already. So we love you, Rick.
Bye-bye.
Why don't we hold this spot all year?
I have
Right?
I have a couple of stories. Rick started coming here about the same time I started coming here. And I couldn't shoot. I was lucky I could hit the side of the barn when I started shooting. And the first thing, he and Ralph came up to me and they said, okay, you're holding the stick all wrong. What is wrong with you? Of course, first he yells at me, and of course the first thing I do is start crying. And he just walks away and goes, okay, he had to get himself together. Apparently women's tears really drove him nuts. So he became a super softie, and then from then on he was a softie. I'll never forget a couple of times that hearing him in the background, whenever you made a bad shot, he let you know it was a bad shot. But the best thing that ever happens to you is when you turn around and you see that little tiny smirk on his face and that little wink in his eye that you shot good. And that was the most, he would let you know, and that was just the most heartwarming, and it meant so much to me coming from him that I just can't tell you. I always tried to joke around with him, and when he first told me one of his jokes, I was one of these very kind of prudish person. And when he told me the first joke, I just looked at him, my eyes got this big, and I just looked at him, and I didn't know how to react. It was like, ah. But that was Rick. And I came to look forward to every joke every week when we got here. Every joke he gave, I just tuned in. So, has everybody got a drink right now? Oh, we have one more thing.
You know, one more thing, guys. I just thought about it. I saw Jay-Z just give me a nod. Rick holds first place right now. Would anybody mind if we hold him for first place through the year?
Yes.
Does anybody mind?
No.
No? Okay. Does anybody else want to say anything? Anybody want to say their experience about Rick? I know you all got one. No?
You got another one.
I know Ian does.
Rick used to every other day, or at least sometimes twice or three times a week, he would send me all of these. I don't know if everybody else gets these reels, but he sends me these reels. The most ridiculous, inappropriate, and I don't even want to open them because I think my wife's going to think I'm looking at porn or something. But he would send me some ridiculous stuff, and I loved it. And I would call him and talk to him in regard to it. He would always have to go. I couldn't get off the phone with him. That's the thing with them is that it's hard to get off the phone. But he was a great guy, and I love just sitting on the sidelines with him. It's always that room. Can you believe they fucking made that shot? Jesus. Yeah, that's lucky as fuck.
How about?
Oh my God. You guys all know it because if you were buying, you had no choice but to hear it, right?
Or that damn Dave's gonna blow a 9-ball. That damn
I
Dave.
can't believe this. You know. So I honestly, we are all gonna miss him, and I am seriously feel like we are missing a big part of our Ortonville world here, and it is. And I mean, man, there's too much. You know, I remember taking him out on the boat last summer too. He loved that. I mean, he didn't really go out on the boat very much, but he was like, "Yeah, let's go for a drink and ride." It was a good time, and I'm glad that I got a chance to know him and have that time with him. So,
All right, let's give him a round of applause and play this tournament for him.
Yes.
I got one thing to say. I'm not part of this tournament. I've only played one time. You're here. But I'm a Gold Bar person. I'm a neighbor. This man would come like hours before all of you would be here, and he would move all the tables around and get everything set up for you. So I don't know if all of you knew that he did that, but he was like religious doing it. He had it planned, and he did it every single week. So that's how we knew him. I'm not, part of this, but that's how we knew him.
Thank you.
At the Gold Bar.
Thank you.
All right, everybody have a drink because we'd like to do a toast to Rick tonight to start the tournament.